So
Yeah.
what does it like look like having different, seasons? Obviously they have an off season, you have off weeks, you have tournament weeks. Like how does that evolve for Scotty and other players? I know you've worked with so many great ones I mentioned in the intro. Like what does that kind of look like, strength versus mobility versus flexibility, just to kind of maybe start to find ways that amateurs can, begin to start tweaking some of their golf fitness.
Yeah, I keep it very simple. Like I mentioned, I have a facility here in Dallas. We take care of from 8, 9-year-olds all the way up to 88-year-old golfers, from amateurs to juniors to college. And before we do anything, they all get tested,
Mm,
right? So we all go through a test. We all do an assessment. We have to figure out what's your weak links, what's your limitations, where are your imbalances. And then we basically put a plan to play at the beginning. It's phase one is just cleaning up the body, just
mm,
making sure you can move properly. Everybody loves, I mean, social media is good and bad for a number of reasons, but they see what Rory McIlroy does, or maybe what Tiger did in the past, and they all want that power and the speed and that strength. But they forget the most fundamental thing is you have to move properly. You have to come from what I would call a mobile, stable foundation. You have to be mobile, you have to be stable. And this is one of the things when I worked with Tiger, he had a really big engine but a really shaky chassis, and he was very strong. And Scotty was very similar. Is I can help you produce a lot of torque. I can help you produce a lot of speed. That's easy, but I want to make sure your frame, your chassis can handle the torque that the engine can generate, right? And if that doesn't happen, you're going to break down and you're going to have an injury. So that's number one. We do the testing. Where's the weaknesses? Where limitations? Where's the imbalances? We address those first, and then we build off of that. And then we start building in some of the strength side of it while we keep doing those movement patterns, right? And then like this year we got behind the 8 ball with Scotty. We lost some speed. So now we're catching up on that end. But the most important thing for him, what we did with Scotty, number one, because he couldn't use his hands a lot, is we got him on a bike. So we did a bunch
mm.
of testing. We did a lot of power testing, speed testing. We actually took him into the gym at the Dallas Stars training facility, and we did a lot of cardiovascular testing. And that was at the beginning of the year. And I said, okay, even though we can't do a lot of upper body, I want to make sure your legs are as strong underneath you as possible. I want to make sure your cardiovascular is there. So Thursday morning to Sunday afternoon, you have the
Hmm.
same type of you feel good. You're not tired. You're not fatigued. And you see a lot of players out there where they'll shoot great Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday they crash. And it's like, okay, is that a physical thing?
Hmm.
Probably is. And working with Tiger, I learned a lot from Tiger. He's always told me, Troy, I want to be as fresh mentally and physically emotionally on Thursday morning than I do on Sunday afternoon on the back nine. And so we can control that. That's the important thing. Like I can control that. And a lot of guys don't understand that. So I push Scotty hard in the gym. Like some of the hockey guys see how I train Scotty, and they're like, "Wow, I didn't expect to see that." So I come from that background. I always say big legs, big glutes creates a lot of power, right?
Hmm.
So we the first probably month we had him on the what we call a watt bike. So I can measure all his cardiovascular. I can measure his zone two, zone three, zone four training. I can get on my app on my phone. I see how hard he went, his heart rate, his recovery rate. And we could do that because he didn't have to use his hands. So that
Hmm.
was the first thing. So now going into the training side of it, upper body, I knew his legs were there, right? So because there's a lot of guys out there, you'll see like on Sunday, like I just have my legs underneath me. I just right. I'm like, well,
Hmm.
there's a reason why. So I'm big on that. Scotty's massive on that. Hydration, recovery modality, sleep, everything we can control, we can control. Obviously dot the i's, cross the t's. He's very good
Hmm.
at that. He's very regimented, very structured that way. I don't have to worry about that side of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. You talk about keeping your legs underneath you. I play 50, 60 amateur tournament days a year and practice and play all the time, work out. Like I absolutely love this as well. But I've definitely
Mhm.
found myself kind of sometimes, feeling a little tired mentally and physically. Tiger would be a little disappointed in me on the weekends. You talk about getting your legs underneath you, and you guys were doing like hard legs and like you said big legs. So what does that look like for the everyday person? Is that more cardio? Is that more just leg days, because guys love to skip leg days, as the joke is? So like what
Mhm.
what does that kind of look like for the everyday player to hopefully get their legs under them on the days when they need it most?
Yeah, we kind of break it up. Obviously, we couldn't use upper body for a while, so it was weighted vest. Do
Mm,
a lot of weighted vest work, a lot of sprint work on the bike. a lot of like 30, 40, 50 minute zone two rides.
Hmm.
Just anything we can do strength wise, like we could do a lot of back squats. We couldn't do a trap bar, but I'm big on trap bar because it protects the back. Um, Bulgarian squats. We did a lot of Zercher squats. Um,
So it's a lot of strength and a lot of cardio. It's a little bit of both.
yeah, and he and he does question me. He's like, "Are we doing this again? What we just like I literally it's crazy how much leg work I do with him and glute work, hip work. Um, it number one, it's regenerate your power from.
Hmm.
Number two, you know, your strong hips protects the back, right? So you generate a lot of power from the ground up, and it starts your legs and your glutes. And he does sometimes. It's like, oh, we're doing this again. Great. Uh, but he's good with it. He understands why. He understands the why. But yeah, a lot of strength, a lot of cardio. We'll do like a good workout and then a burner after. Like
Mm.
we'll do whether it's med ball slams, whether it's 30 seconds on the assault bike, whether it's the rower, whether it's the skier. Like I really push him hard. We don't mess around too much in the gym. There's days we'll have fun. And we'll bring in some guys like he'll train sometimes as Siwoo Kim, Tom Kim, Ryan Palmer, just to break up monotony and have a little fun. And he loves it. He loves
Hmm.
to compete. He loves to chirp. Like it's funny. So uh yeah, we just break it up in different blocks. Will be a strength. One day it'll be a strength day, legs. Next day it'll be more of a functional kind of regeneration day. Next day it'll be more of a mobility day, and then we go upper body strength.
Mm.
We just kind of break it up. A lot of it depends on what part of the season. Like right now, he's going to be 3 weeks in a row, right? Last week, this week, next week at Jack's. They'll take Canadian Open off and then play a major. So the Canadian Open week will be a big week for us to get ready for Oakmont. Right now, like this week, he's tired, emotionally drained. Obviously, a massive win for him. So really, literally Monday was a treatment day. Tuesday was more of a mobility, stability, regen day. Nothing crazy. Yesterday was a low volume, kind of a high intensity. I did a little bit of micro dosing of strength, a little bit of speed, just to get the nerves back up to speed again, because obviously he's competing today. Um, yeah, we just put a plan together, and just a lot of it just depends on where we're in the season, how he feels physically, what I see in the golf swing. We just read and react.
Mm.
I call it read and react training. Tournament weeks, I see something like, okay, this workout's not doing this, we're doing this instead. And we change it a lot. And he, like I said, he's very coachable and he's very adaptable. He's like,